Woof woof! Hey guys, it's me Marcus, aka the Mad Dog, and thank you for tuning in to another video. So we all know who the Uncanny Omar is from Name and Condition, and at the beginning of every month he puts out the upcoming graphic novels and comics for that month. I thought it'd be fun if I just did a short little video where I go through my pull list of November. Obviously I'm not going to mention all the books that are coming out, or else it's just blatant plagiarism and I'd recommend that you just watch his video instead. But I'm always trying to expand this channel and bring new things onto it, so I thought I'd just see how this one goes. Starting off with the week of November 4th, which is the day that I'm actually filming this video, and there's 4 books that I'm looking to buy. We've got the Lucifer Omnibus Volume 2, which I've already got the first volume of. I was waiting until this series was actually complete in Omnibus so that I could start reading this, so I actually need this book in order to be able to read another book on my shelf. This one for me is quite high up on my priorities, but I don't feel like I need to buy it the second that I see it. The first volume seemed to be kept healthily in stock here, there and everywhere, so I'm not too worried about this one. I believe this has got a $125 cover price. I haven't got all of that information in front of me, so please just don't spam the comments with corrections of the prices that I've said wrong. But for me, I'm happy to wait until Books Etc gets this, and I reckon I could get it for about 45 to 50% off. So on the budget, I'm going to count this as about £70. Next up, another volume 2, I've got Superman City of Tomorrow volume 2. When I was very new to comics, I did read Our Worlds at War, so it'd be nice to just get this and read this run, but I don't actually have volume 1 just yet, so I'm going to have to buy both of these. However, if I was ranking this, it would just be on the radar. Like if this went out of print and I didn't get it, I wouldn't be too disheartened because of the fact that I would actually prefer it in a deluxe edition. It's mainly because of the Ed McGuinness art. But it's got about a $40 cover price, it's about £32 retail in the UK. If I could get this for about less than £22, then I'd be happy with it. And the final book that I've got in this first week of November is none other than the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Beyond the Grid Deluxe Edition. If I'm ranking this, it's a day one purchase. It's not just a must buy, I absolutely need this book. Anybody that's watched more than one video on this channel knows that I'm a massive Power Rangers guy. You can just see it behind me. I've got all 3 of the deluxe editions so far, but this Beyond the Grid was actually where I jumped off at single issues. So for me, this is all new material, and I've actually already got this pre-ordered. I've got a pre-order price guarantee of £31.45. So let's just round that up and say £32. I may have forgotten some of the numbers that I've just said, but with the calculations that I've just put in, that would put my first week to about £124. The second week, November 11th, is a lot more easy on my wallet because I've just got one book that I'm looking to buy. That is the Uncanny X-Men Volume 2 Omnibus. Now I did recently get the first volume, you could see it in my last haul, so obviously I need to get the rest of these. This for me again is a must buy because I know how quickly these X-Men books go out of print, and I know how quickly omnibuses are just going out of stock in general. This is another one that I've got pre-ordered, and it's coming in at £55.79, so we're just going to round that up to £56. Then we're moving on to the week of November 18th, and this is an absolutely whammy week. Although a lot of these books are going to be must-buys, I just don't think it's physically possible for me to do that. The first book on this list is probably my most anticipated of this entire month, even more so than the Power Rangers book. That is the Conan the Barbarian by Kurt Busiek Omnibus. I pre-ordered this the second it became available, and there is absolutely no way that I'm going to let this slip through my fingers. I would pay cover price to make sure that I got this book, but at the moment I have got it pre-ordered at about £79. Next up is another book that I've got pre-ordered because I managed to find a great deal on Amazon, and that is the Excalibur Omnibus Volume 1. Yeah, this is British, so I'm going to have to support it anyway, but it is also a book that I'm looking forward to. I've heard that the highs of this book are really high, and I've heard that the lows of this book are really low. But with that pre-order price, I am happy to put it as a day one purchase, but before it would have just been probably on my radar. I've got it pre-ordered for about £56, so I'm happy with that, and hopefully it arrives in good condition. The next book, and what's making this week really difficult for me, is the Batman Road to No Man's Land Omnibus. I love No Man's Land, it's one of my favourite events of all time, especially for a Batman book. I got the majority of the trade paperbacks but never actually quite finished them, so I'm hoping that they continue this in Omnibus and this is just like the prequel one. In the UK there was quite a few glitches for this book, but I actually pre-ordered it from Speedy Hen for £20.38. Whether or not they'll actually be able to honour that price is a completely different matter. Another big book that I've been looking forward to for a while until I saw the cover and I realised just how hideous it was is the JLA by Grant Morrison Omnibus. Looking at it here, I think 3 out of 4 of these books in this week alone made it onto my top 15 most anticipated omnibuses. But yeah, this is another series that I read as I was starting to get into comics, and they had most of the deluxe editions and then they eventually sold them off. So it's good to finally get this series back in my collection, but this is like the one book that I'm actually tempted to get a custom dust jacket for. This is quite a big book and I think it's retailing for about $150, so that's about £120 in the UK, so if I could get this for about £70 or under, then I'd be happy. As well, another one that's on my radar but not a day one purchase is the Berserk Deluxe Edition Volume 6. Now by structuring my books like this and saying that some are pre-orders, some are day one purchases and some are just on my radar, it does actually help me to budget my books better, because then you can wait for certain books until they're at a price that you're happy with. There's others that you feel like you need and you must get then and there, and I think if we talk about being smart with your money, it is always best to have those sort of levels for yourself so that you don't end up just buying everything day one and possibly pay more than you're actually happy to do so. Berserk Berserk is a good example of this because I get the feeling that the majority of these books are going to be evergreen because of how many later volumes there are still to come. So far, I don't think I've paid over £25 for a volume of Berserk because often Speedy Hen has those 20% offs, Forbidden Planet has their 3 for 2 on all mangas. If I can get this for about £25, then I'm going to be happy. The first Image book on this list is going to be one that rounds out the collection, and actually the book after it is pretty much the same description, but the first one is Paper Girls Deluxe Edition Volume 3. I've got Volume 1 and I've got Volume 2, and I've heard that Volume 3 is going to be the last volume, so of course I'm going to get it. I love Brian K. Vaughan, Why the Last Man's one of my favourite books, I've read most of Ex Machina, Saga's something that I've been collecting after I read it in single issues, but these volumes have actually healthily stayed in stock, so I'm going to wait until this is about £22 because that's roughly what I've paid for the other volumes. And the last book that I want on November 18th is none other than the East of West the Apocalypse Year 3. Again, I believe that this is the last year, and obviously I've got years 1 and 2 now. I paid about £30 for them, so I'm going to put this in the same category. This is a weird one that I'm going to keep checking in on it periodically, and I might even set a tracker on Keeper because of the fact that Volume 1's pretty much been in stock the entire time, but Volume 2 just disappeared overnight. So I genuinely don't know if this is going to go the way of Year 1 or Year 2, so I'm just going to have to play it a bit safe with this one. So unless my maths is incorrect, I'm going to be spending £303 on books that week. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a difficult one, but again, that's why I do prioritise stuff like the Conan book and the Excalibur and the Batman No Man's Land are probably going to be ones that I'm going to get on the first day, but then stuff like Berserk and Paper Girls and East of West, I am actually going to wait, so it's not going to be £303 in one go. If anything, you can sort of balance it out, so because the week before was only £56, just put some of the money that you could have spent, like if I would have usually spent about £100 there, you know, just justify it that way. Yeah, definitely sound like I've got a problem when I say that out loud. Now for the last week of November 25th, there's 3 books that are on my radar. None of these are day 1 purchases, but I'm going to keep track of all of them, the first of which is the Justice League International Omnibus Volume 2. I actually thought this book was cancelled, but we've seen the main cover for it, we've seen that some of the creators have also got copies of them, so it seems real and it seems like it's actually going to make its way across here. So I have finally bit the bullet and Volume 1 is on its way, but for the second volume I'd be happy to spend about the same amount, and that's about £60. The next book is the Hellsing Deluxe Edition Volume 2. Now I've already got Volume 1 and I've heard that there's only going to be 3 volumes of these to actually complete this run. Again, it's going to be on my radar because I'm half tempted to wait until there's about 3 of these deluxe editions that I need and get them from Forbidden Planet and use their 3 for 2 sale. But again, similar to Berserk, I'm going to expect to pay about the same amount that I did for the previous volumes, and that's going to be about £25. The last book on this list is just so that this is comprehensive in all the books that I'm possibly considering, but that is Transformers vs Terminator. Now I've heard this is getting a hardcover, but I can't even see it on Amazon UK, so I'm not really sure where that information's coming from. But by that I just mean I don't know what the cover price is, I don't know if it's deluxe or anything like that. I am hoping that this is a deluxe edition. Terminator 2 is my favourite film of all time, and it's just fun to see them fighting other machines with the Transformers. Like, is this going to be set on Cybertron? Is it going to be set during the Skynet War? I'm really intrigued by this book and I wouldn't mind checking it out. If it is deluxe edition and it seems like it's only got a couple of issues, I'd be happy paying about £15 for this. Conveniently, considering what I said about having a budget for each week, that would bring my November 25th amount to £100. So now that we've gone through the weeks, totaling it all up, taking the price of everything that I said I'd be happy to pay, if I bought every book that was on my wish list for November, I would be spending £583 on books this month. And that's just on new releases, but having a look at some of the books that I said I'm happy to wait for, it's going to be around about £350. But throughout this entire video, I haven't acknowledged the fact that yes, I do still live in the UK, so I'm probably not going to get some of these books until like next April or something. But still, on this channel, as good as it is having a nice collection, as good as it is having a massive haul, I'm always going to preach to make sure that you get your finances in check first. That's your bread and butter, that's what's going to keep your life going. The books are just like the hobby, it's not something that should dictate all your spending. And doing stuff like this and having budgets is a smart way of doing that, and a few of you have asked how I budget my months out and what it is that I pull each month, so I just thought I'd give this video a try, see if you guys like it. But let me know, is this something that you'd like to see me do once a month, or is it something that you're not really too bothered about? Like I said, it's weird because I get quite a few people messaging me asking if I'm going to get a specific book in that month, so doing this video kind of just absolves all of those queries. But comment below, what are some of the books that are on your must buy, what are some of the books that you pre-ordered, and what are some that are on your radar but you're not really too sure if you're going to pick up. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't like this video, why did you get this far? If you haven't done so already, please click that subscribe button. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm going to do some kind of special Q&A to celebrate it. I'm not really sure what else I'm going to do, but I do want to do a bit more as well. But please click that bell notification because I don't really have a set schedule with my videos. As soon as a video is able to go up and be uploaded, it's just there on the website. So you never know, it could be tomorrow, it could be a week from now, but if you don't want to miss out, that's what the bell notification's for. And if you do want to support the channel, it is greatly appreciated, and I'm not going to ask for a Patreon or anything like that. All I'm going to ask is that you treat yourself to a book. Maybe there's something on this list that you really need, but all I'm going to ask is that you use the Amazon affiliate codes down down below. The links there don't increase the price. I can't see any of your details. It just means that money's eventually going to be coming into the channel and I can hopefully improve the camera and some other things. But check out my social media links. I'm always trying to make sure that I put as much comic content on there as I can. But hopefully you've all enjoyed this video and it's something that you want to see continued in future. But until the next video, just make sure that you stay safe, keep reading and keep barking all you mad dogs.